co-founder and editor of Art and Type magazine, which I founded with Susan.
I founded Art and Type with Natalia, and we're both studio art majors at NYU.
Great.
We met last year in our freshman year at NYU, and our faculty has opportunity of doing a lot of things. So if you're interested like in photography or more traditional 2D media, like you can do whatever you want. So in the first year, you kind of explore everything. And then this year, we're just working on like one you want to focus in.
That's cool.
Well, I kind of just texted Natalia with the idea, and then she immediately was like, oh, like, I really want to join you, and like, can I join you? And I was like, of course.
And then we discussed names for a couple of weeks, kind of a month. And then we did some prototypes of like the image. Susan did some designs of like how we wanted to look. And then we started creating the page and just like the layout and contacting some people or like friends we knew who wanted to submit work or, you know, be part of the network. And then it just grown from there.
Yeah, I really love your guys' idea. It's so unique, and yeah, pretty much DGG would start like that too, just like a text message.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of more like you learn about artists and you know of artists, but like you never know them in person, so it's kind of hard to be influenced by them. Like you can like their work, but there's not that connection that you have with maybe like your family members or someone else who might inspire you, or professors, teachers, other students. So I think it's more about that for me, people around me directly.
Yeah, I would agree. Just like going to college and meeting like all these professors who are like professionals and like they have a lot of experience in the art world. Like you kind of get really inspired by them just because you know them in person and you know kind of the work they have to do to get there. And you generally know a lot of artists and they teach you a lot of them, but it's more like the person and like the people in your life who impact you. I think my professors have been a really big inspiration just because they don't know only like a lot of stuff, but they also teach you a lot about not only like making art and the process, but how to, you know, reach out to people and make connections and just do this type of stuff that's like I think really necessary in the art world. And then like other people are studying with you, they just become your collaborators. Like kind of Susan just became like my art partner from nowhere.
I don't know, I think in art it's kind of unique because pretty much everyone in our classes, except for a few boys, is either a girl or a non-binary. So it's not really reflected in the classroom, and we have a fair amount of girl professors, but it's more reflected in who owns property and who owns like galleries and who is the board member of a museum and stuff like that. So it's like the artists or people trying to become artists may not always be men, but ultimately the people who decide who is successful are men. So that's the tricky part. But hopefully that will change or start to change more.
Like, does that ever, I guess, cause you to have imposter syndrome that you'll never like go far with your art, since I guess mostly men decide who's gonna like become successful?
I think like with what Susan said, like in the classroom it's mostly girls who go and study art, but not a lot of them pursue it after graduating. So a lot of like our classmates don't really want to be artists or are not motivated by it. But the department has seen like a reform of more like high positions led by like female professors or like non-binary professors. So that's really interesting. And like it's kind of devoted like not motivating sometimes to apply to stuff just because like it's mostly held by like interviews by men, or you know they want a lot of experience, and like and as a student sometimes you don't get the opportunity to have it, but kind of hope that changes. That's why we started this.
Yeah, definitely.
a lot of people don't support an art career, which we also try to like, like go away from this stigma like doing art is easy or like a lazy career, because it's actually well, really hard, and you have to do a lot of work just to be successful, and that's what our professors has taught us. But I think, going to art school, not everyone has to do it. Like everyone has its different journeys, but I think it's been a good experience just to learn that you need to like work hard, but it's also like not impossible to do it.
I would say you don't have to go to art school if it's not within your means, but if you aren't going to art school, you do have to be very self-motivated, or else you're not going to be able to be producing work constantly like you would at art school. Because, like, for example, we have an art professor who took a break between his bachelor's and his master's degree, which are both in fine arts. But he took a 9-year break because he didn't think he was going to go to master's school. But he just really needed that push to become like what he wanted to be. So he ended up going. But there are other people who just don't even go through art school, or they study something else and then realize that they want to do that. So it depends on the type of person you are and what you have available to you.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if you're going to go into art career, you need a lot of like perseverance, and like you really need to love art, because it's hard to get your name out there and like get your work out there.
And art career is a lot about self-doubt. Like sometimes that's just what leads you to create. And also, like keeping your ego in check. Sometimes, people go to art school and they're really good at art in school, but then, they go to college and, you get your ego in check just seeing so many talented people. And the imposter syndrome, like it does happen sometimes. You just wonder like, am I good enough, or what am I doing? But it's just like, what Susan said, keeping yourself motivated, it really helps, and it just, helps you in life to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could be the best or like really great in a class, and you could still feel imposter syndrome when you like not even just comparing yourself to yourself, but or not even comparing yourself to other people, but comparing yourself to yourself is almost worse. So like your skill level and your ideas aren't even the only thing causing imposter syndrome. So it is a lot to deal with. But it's kind of reassuring to know that everyone else experiences it, and even our professors say that they still experience it and they're way more successful than we might be. So
Mm-hmm. And like before we go on to the last question, what is like one of your biggest accomplishments?
I tend not to think about it because I tend to think more about like what I want to do next, and then it's like I'm always trying to keep going, which is kind of a bad thing in itself. But yeah, I don't really think about it. I think more about what I could be doing.
Okay. Honestly, me too. It's like one thing isn't good enough. You want to like keep on trying. And yeah.
We kind of focus, the future, what we want to do. We're really excited for the first issue. We've tried to reach out to a lot of people and just make it something really special instead of something commercial. We're leaning more to like an editorial type of thing, something that's more like collectible, more towards, an art piece instead of just something you sell just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And, Susan's really good reaching out to people. So it's also like we want to feature artists and just give this platform to expose them, but like not in a bad way, just like, to show them to other people.
Yeah.
Like help artists get their names out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Or not even just that, but just like with the whole profit stuff, we wanted to make it very clear with how we distribute that, because like a lot of people think of success as like having experience or taking internships, or in college at least, not beyond college, but a lot of that results in your work not even being a priority because you're working for someone else. And a lot of times in artistic stuff, you're not being paid. So we've kind of wanted to take our experience in some of that and make sure it's not an experience that people that work with us necessarily have. So we want to create a fairness in that aspect too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really important.
So the piece, you can find us on Instagram. It's Art and Type Mag, and there's a link to our page. So we're taking submissions through there, and then the deadline's around October 25th, and the first issue will come around December, January.
Yeah.
That's the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you to Natalia and Susan for joining me today for an amazing Q&A. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe down below, and click the notification bell to get notified every time we post a new video. Bye!